backstage at Cisco Ottawa Bluesfest with Argent today, and it is an honor to sit with you, sir. So it's great to be here. A man who's written what people would say are timeless songs with the Zombies, like She's Not There, and also with your own group Argent, named after yourself, of course, with Hold Your Head Up. And I want to just talk about that. What do you think it is that makes a timeless classic? What do you think it is that makes a song a classic like those?
I think one of the important things is that when you write it, you don't try and write it to be fashionable. You don't try and write it to think, I'm gonna put a hook line here or whatever. You just take a musical idea and you follow it through, and you try and get the best out of the material that you possibly can. That's the way we naturally approached everything in the group, both in the Zombies and in Argent. And maybe it's not the most instantly commercial thing to do, but over a long period of time, it means the songs, they sometimes sound of their period, but they actually retain something of a timeless quality, and people can relate to them many years on, I think.
I'm going to presume that you don't know this, but when you're writing a song like one of those two that we mentioned, do you have a sense that it's something that's special and it's going to be a special song in your repertoire, or is it something that develops as the song ages with you?
Well, something like She's Not There was virtually the first song I ever wrote. It was the second song I ever wrote. And because you know nothing about all the pitfalls when you do that, you just assume it's going to be a hit. I mean, you just don't know anything else. So when She's Not There was a hit, I thought, yeah, this is what's supposed to happen. I was excited, but I wasn't surprised. I thought, this is how the script's supposed to go. And very soon after that, it didn't go like that. But Teleno, was a big hit. Teleno, I was still coming off She's Not There, really, and I still sort of more or less thought it had a good chance of being a hit. Then there was a gap before we had another really big hit. Now, Time of the Season was the last song that I wrote from the Odyssey and Oracle album, and I do remember finishing that song and writing it very quickly and saying to my colleague who I shared a flat with two other guys, and Chris White, the bass player in the Zombies, was one of the other guys. And I remember writing it. We needed one more track for the album. And I remember saying to Chris, I think this could be a hit. So I did have a sense of that one. Now, Hold Your Head Up, strange enough, even though I had some input into that song, it was actually, most people assume that because it's Argent, I wrote that song. I've got my joint name on with Chris White. It's actually mainly Chris's song. And most people assume the other way.
Now, how do you feel when you're out now, and these songs are like 30 or is it 40 years old now?
I'm afraid so, yeah.
You're up on stage and you play those first chords, and night after night when you're on a tour like this, and then the audience spontaneously erupts because they know that favorite of theirs. How do you feel up on stage when that happens every night?
It feels fantastic. I mean, it's something we could never have looked forward to 40 years ago or more. I mean, She's Not There was 1964, which is 45 years ago, my God. But people still respond to it now, and the great thing is the songs that aren't so well known, we always have a young component to our audience. I'm not saying that the whole audience is young, of course it isn't, but we always have a young component to the audience, and a lot of the young kids always know the Odyssey and Oracle songs, and they always sing along with them, and that is so gratifying. I mean, it's extraordinary, and again, as I just said to you, if someone had said that to us 40 years ago, we'd said they were crazy, but it's a very gratifying thing. It's lovely. A lot of young bands talk about it as being one of their favourite albums.